A farmer standing on barren land.
When the parable of the sower is read, a question is naturally raised. Why were seeds sown on rocky ground, among thorns, and on the path by the farmer? It might be thought that seeds should be sown only on good soil, and there was no need for them to be wasted so recklessly. From the perspective of modern management or capitalistic efficiency, this farmer is clearly regarded as a foolish failure. The act of sowing seeds on a path, in rocky places, or among thorns is seen as more than just a blunder. It is considered irresponsible. However, this very question, born from common sense, is used as a crucial key to interpreting the parable.
The truth of the land, the rocky mountains of Jerusalem, and the barrenness of Galilee.
To understand this parable accurately, the land of Israel must first be understood. While people are familiar with the rhetorical expression, a land flowing with milk and honey, Israel is often misunderstood as a fertile plain. Yet, this expression is used as a comparison to the wilderness, and it is not meant to signify that the land is a genuine paradise. The main industries of ancient Israel were composed of farming and shepherding. Even today, on the road from Jericho to Jerusalem, shepherds are frequently seen tending sheep. There it is realized how barren the land truly is. The areas around Jerusalem and Bethlehem are characterized as mountainous regions filled with stones and gravel, with almost no land for cultivation. Fertile soil is found only on the coast or in the Jezreel Valley. The Judean mountains and the Galilee region, where the ministry of Jesus was staged, were known to have almost no land suitable for farming. The four types of soil appearing in the parable were not something imagined by Jesus. They were the very foundations of the barren lives faced by the audience every day. The land was so full of stones and gravel that it was deemed impossible to be reclaimed. Paths hardened by footsteps and thorns growing wildly between rocks were the harsh realities that could not be escaped by Judean farmers. Life for a farmer in such a place must have been made even more difficult. In the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, people are described as wasting their time because no work is provided all day. This is also used as a parable to vividly show the economic situation of Israel at the time. Jesus' parable for those farming in such barren land was not merely intended as an illustration. It was spoken with their circumstances deeply considered.
The paradox of farming, sowing as a declaration, not reclamation.
What must also be understood is the unique farming method of Palestine at the time. In the Western perspective, land is prepared and fertilized before seeds are planted. But in ancient Israel, seeds were sown first, and then plowing was begun by the farmers. It was pointed out by Joachim Jeremias and Kenneth Bailey that this point is the core turning point of the parable. A seed bag is carried over the shoulder by the farmer, and seeds are sown as the hand reaches while the field is crossed. At this time, seeds are fallen on the path and among the thorns. This might be seen as a waste, but the farming method of the time is reflected in this act. After the seeds are sown, a plow is taken by the farmer, and the land begins to be overturned. It is no easy task for land full of stones and thorns, or a hardened path, to be overturned. It was written by the psalmist, "Those who go out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with them." This is used to show how difficult it was for the seeds to be sown and the land to be plowed. The work was so grueling that hands and feet were cracked, and beads of sweat were poured from the forehead. It was a situation where tears were naturally brought forth. However, after that hard work, the possibility is open for the hardened path and the thorns to be turned into fertile soil. The seeds are not sown in comfort. They are not simply sown on fertile soil with a relaxed mind. This parable is not a story about prepared or fertile land being found. It is used to show a powerful will that any land shall be overturned and made to bear fruit.
Hidden eyes. Why are parables hard to understand?
Why are the parables of Jesus so often misunderstood? It is not because the parables are objectively difficult or intended as hidden codes. As was pointed out by Rowan Williams, the truth is distorted through the lenses of self-assurance, prejudice, and selfish desire. The 30-fold, 60-fold, and 100-fold harvest could not be understood by the people of Jesus' time. This is because it was well known to them how barren the land was. It was likely thought that the parable made no sense because such a harvest could never be yielded from that land. Today, because of a capitalistic mindset where only performance and fruit are emphasized, focus is often placed only on the harvest of 30, 60, and 100-fold. Yet, the blood and tears of the farmers in this parable are not considered at all. No empathy is felt for the hearts of the farmers sowing seeds in a reality where failure is so certain. It is like a situation where only the highlights of a goal are watched after a sports game, without it being known how hard the players ran to achieve that goal or how much they practiced. It is not even attempted to be seen. This is why the parable of Jesus is found to be difficult. The parable is hidden because of a shallow heart that desires to see only what is wanted. Truth is opened to everyone, but to those who build their own fortresses, that light is perceived as darkness. This was called Quiet Sorrow by Helmut Thielicke, and insight was gained into the process where the divine seed is nullified by human stubbornness. That people see but do not perceive and hear but do not understand is not because it was intentionally hidden by God. It is because their hearts were already hardened by the worries of the world and the temptation of wealth, causing the ability to receive the frequency of the word to be lost.
Holy waste, love toward a place where failure is expected.
The most moving part of this parable is found in the patience of the farmer. It was known by the farmer that much of the seed would be eaten by birds on the path, withered in the rocky ground, and choked by thorns. Nevertheless, the sowing of seeds is not stopped by him. This is called the holy waste of God. It is said by E. Carlston that the stress in the parable is placed on the difficulties faced by the seed, not the smallness of the original sowing. While the logic of the world is taught that investment should not be made where failure is certain, the gospel is seen in the very ministry of Jesus, who walked toward the cross until the end, even though it was known that he would be rejected and mocked. The act of seeds being thrown onto the rocky mountain by the farmer is seen as the desperate gesture of love from a father waiting for even a single soul to return.
The mystery of the fruit, the supernatural miracle of 100-fold harvest.
Finally, when the land is reclaimed and the seed yields fruit, what happens is even more wondrous. The figures of 30-fold, 60-fold, and 100-fold are numbers by which the average Palestinian harvest of about 10-fold is surpassed. It is analyzed by Simon Kistemaker that this figure symbolizes the supernatural and overwhelming victory of the kingdom of God that transcends human effort. What is important here is the fact that things are made to grow only by God. As was confessed by Apostle Paul, neither the one who plants nor the one who waters is anything but only God, by whom things are made to grow. It was seen by Jacques Ellul that the kingdom of God is operated with a hidden dynamism that is not visible from the outside. Even if 90% of the seeds are seen to disappear, the 100-fold harvest from the remaining seeds becomes a glorious reversal by which all previous failures are covered when the harsh land is reclaimed.
Modern application. Discipleship of patience beyond efficiency.
Today, we are trapped in the trap of capitalistic efficiency. Cost-effectiveness is measured even in churches and mission fields. Interest is shown only in land that looks like fertile soil, places where immediate responses are given, or where a building can be quickly built. However, what must not be forgotten is that the world we stand on today is like a path, rocky ground, and thorn bushes. It is often attempted for fruit to be born through easy methods. It is thought that people can be approached using money as much as is possessed. But that is not recognized as God's way, and God is not found to be working with it. That is not seen as holy waste. It is merely regarded as secular consumption. In the parable of Jesus, seeds are sown while tears are shed by the farmer. It was common for blood to be shed while stones were overturned and thorns were cleared. Yet, that work was done while God's providence was hoped for. This is exactly what must be learned by the modern church. The modern church, by which only performance is demanded and measured, emphasizes efficiency to ministers. This is seen as clearly damaging the essence of the gospel. We were not told by Jesus to be inspectors who choose good soil. Rather, we are told to have the heart of a farmer by whom seeds are silently sown, and tears are shed even on barren land where the outcome is uncertain.
Conclusion: trusting in God's sovereignty and providence.
Why was the seed sown on a pile of stones by the farmer? The answer to this question is clear. It is because that is the way we are loved by God. Even if our appearance is full of stones and thorns, we are never given up on by God, and the soil of our hearts is overturned until the end. That's how we were able to be brought before Jesus today. The timing and amount of the harvest are dependent on God's sovereignty, not our calculations. While the plowing of the farmer who turns rocky mountains into fertile soil is trusted, our task today is simply for seeds to be sown with humility and for that land to be reclaimed with tears. When holy waste is not stopped even in a dark reality where failure seems certain, the hundredfold miracle produced by God's providence will finally be witnessed. A question is asked by the parable. Are you a calculator by whom efficiency is measured, or a farmer by whom a rocky field is cultivated with tears while God's promise is believed? The decision on this question will cause our spiritual vision to be restored, and will become the key by which the secrets of the kingdom of God are opened.
Logos Global Academy currently streams in 11 languages and is expanding to over 20 languages to reach every corner of the globe. Please subscribe and become a member to empower this massive global mission. Thank you so much.